Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Durrett Steak. There's a lot I want to talk about, and it has to do a lot with the NBA and the different formats they are considering. Um, I hope that they take these considerations, and I hope they do their due diligence with them. If they decide that like a 7 game series or something like that is the best thing, then that's what they decide. But I hope they decide to do something and change it up a little bit because the season's already going to be unique anyways, and some people may say there's an asterisk to the season. So if that's the case, you might as well change things up. Since you're going to be in most likely in that one location, which is Orlando, this is the best chance to try many different things. So one of the options they're talking about is doing the 16 seed format, and like it is in college basketball. I don't think they would do 1 game elimination like college basketball, although that would be really fun. But I can see them doing maybe best of three, five, or like they said they're willing to do in the past, they may just do 7 game series in this format. But I wanted to go over the 1 through 16 seeds and kind of play out how things would go if they were to adapt this format. And this would go for most likely a 5 to 7 game series. Now, if it's a 3 game series, that makes things a lot more trickier. My picks would be kind of different. But assuming this is like a normal 7 game series, this is what my picks would be. So Milwaukee and Orlando and 16 seed Orlando, that would stay the same versus if it was West versus East. So I would take Milwaukee there easily. But then you have the Lakers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if KD decided to come back and Kyrie decided to come back, then LeBron and AD versus KD Kyrie, that would be a fun matchup as a 2 to 15 seed. But I don't think that's going to happen. So therefore, the Lakers will win easily. Third seed Toronto versus 14th seed Memphis. Now Memphis and Brooklyn are not that much different of a team per se. They're both talented in their own ways, but I feel like Memphis would be more. I feel like that would give Toronto like a more interesting matchup and more harder time than Brooklyn would. But again, Toronto wins about 6 games or so, maybe 5. And then 4 seed Clippers versus 13 seed Dallas. That would stay the same if it was East versus West. Although once again Dallas get dropped here, so again I feel like Clippers would win probably in 6, maybe 5. And then the 5th seed Boston would face 12 seed Philadelphia. Now this would be a fun defensive matchup here. These two teams have provided instant classics in the playoffs before, and it's just a really intense rivalry. So that'd be a fun matchup to see. And in college basketball, 12 seeds are very popular as an upset pick over the 5 seed. But I don't see that in the case here. Even if Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are both healthy, I feel like Boston would still win. Probably like 6 games or so. And then you had to have 6 seed Denver versus 11 seed Indiana. Again, 11 seeds are also common for a lot of upsets as well. But again, I don't feel like Indiana is quiz for the playoffs, so I feel like Denver can take advantage there with their depth. And then you have a 7 seed Utah versus 10 seed Houston. Now, this is not a matchup Utah wins without Bono Bogdanovic, so Houston would get the upset here and win probably 6 games or so. And then you have 8 seed Miami versus 9 seed Oklahoma City. Now, this would be a fun matchup. Both teams were very underrated to begin the year, and then both impressed a lot of people. Because Miami has more players and Oklahoma City is just so young, I would give the edge to Miami, but that would be, again, a fun series. So then you have a 1 seed Milwaukee versus 8 seed Miami. So this would pretty much be the same matchup if we're going to be in the Eastern Conference alone anyways, because I feel like both teams would have collided in the semifinals. But again, Milwaukee, it won't be easy, but they should be able to win that series. And then you have 2 seed LA Lakers versus 10 seed Houston. Now imagine how fun this series would be. LeBron AD versus Russell Westbrook and James Harden. That would be a fun matchup. A better matchup versus the Lakers were to face a injury-riddled Utah Jazz team or a very young Oklahoma City team. So this would be a better semifinals matchup here. And I feel like it'd be tough out for the I feel like it'd be tough out for Lakers, but I feel like they'll survive and advance. And then you have the 3rd seed Toronto versus 6 seed Denver. Now again, this one's very interesting. So Denver, in my opinion, has the better players and more depth. But Toronto, with a better head coach, in my opinion, and more of that championship experience that they got from the playoff run last year, I feel like that will help them survive in a close series here. I feel like it will go 7-game series, but a close series here to have Toronto squeak out. And then you have the Clippers versus Boston. Now, this would be a fun semifinals game. I mean, Clippers and Houston could have been a fun semifinal game, but this one would be even more fun. Because Clippers have more depth, though, I still give them the edge. But again, it could probably in 6 games. But this would be, like I said, a pretty fun series. So then you'd have a number 1 seed Milwaukee versus 4 seed LA Clippers. So this could have been a championship matchup here, but you get this in the semifinals instead. And I would give Clippers the edge here because of their depth. Because Kawhi can easily stop the Greek Freak, and then everyone else can defend, or Chris Middleton ain't going to show up and do much, or George Hill, or Brook Lopez, or whoever. And then you got the Lakers versus Toronto. I feel like Lakers should win this one pretty easily, like 5 games, maybe 6. So then you'd have a Lakers versus Clippers matchup. Now, this is what we all wanted to begin with, but of course, if you're doing just Western Conference versus Eastern Conference, that would never happen. But if you can change it to this format, then you can get the prime championship matchup that we all like to see. Because in my opinion, if you go back 2 years ago, you had Houston and Golden State in a 7-game series in the conference finals, and then you had the Cavs and Celtics in the 7-game series conference finals. So those are both fun series, and we basically called the winner of the Houston Golden State series the championship team, basically, because in the finals we knew Warriors or Houston would have destroyed the Cavs. So, and that's what ended up happening. So I would like to see a championship series and a championship game instead of having the Eastern and West Conference Finals be the championship series by default. So there you have it. After reviewing these scenarios, I feel like this format would be super awesome, and it would be fun to experiment with and see what would happen. There's been talks about how maybe you expand the teams to like maybe the bottom 4 teams that didn't make the playoffs that could still make the playoffs. You had them play the bottom 2 seeds, so the 8th seed and 7th seed, and then kind of have them battle up in one game, elimination game, to see who really can become the 7th and 8th seed. I'm not really a big fan of that one. I don't feel like that one would work out very well. I feel like, for the most part, that like for example, like if the Mavericks were to play the Spurs and Spurs somehow would beat them just in one game alone, I feel like that wouldn't be right. Because I feel like the Mavericks showed that they were the better team throughout the season than the Spurs, for example. So again, that's why I feel like 16 game series will work out. So my show is pretty short today. That's it. But I'm gonna have a lot more tomorrow as I talk about more NBA format scenarios that they've been talking about and stuff like that, and trade rumors that have been going on. Please leave me a comment on what you'd like for me to discuss in the future. Thank you very much for listening, and y'all have a wonderful day.